The microphone dropped. 43,000 people went completely silent. And in that moment, every fake rapper in America knew their time was up. What Tupac said next would destroy careers, expose industry lies, and change hip-hop forever. It was December 7th, 1995. At Madison Square Garden, the most sacred venue in hip-hop. Tupac was performing what many would later call his most important concert ever, but nobody knew it would become the night that separated the real from the fake forever. The evening had started like any other Tupac show. Electric energy pulsing through the crowd, screaming fans hanging on every word. But something was different about this particular night. In the VIP section sat nearly every major rapper from both coasts. Somehow the entire hip-hop industry had gathered to witness what none of them expected was coming. Backstage before the show, Tupac had been unusually quiet. His crew noticed he kept checking a folded piece of paper in his jacket pocket. When asked about it, he just smiled that dangerous smile and said, "Tonight we separate the wheat from the chaff." Tupac was midway through Me Against the World when he suddenly stopped rapping. The music continued for a few beats before the DJ cut the instrumental. 43,000 people held their breath. Hold up," Tupac said, his voice carrying that dangerous edge everyone recognized as a warning sign. "Before I continue, I need to address something that's been eating at my soul." He walked to the edge of the stage, scanning the VIP section where dozens of rappers sat watching with growing unease. You could see the sweat starting to form on some of their faces. "I've been watching this culture that I love get destroyed by fake motherfuckers who don't understand what this is really about." The crowd began to murmur, sensing they were about to witness something unprecedented. In the VIP section, several rappers shifted uncomfortably. "Y'all see these cats in the VIP section?" Tupac pointed directly toward the premium seats. "Half of these dudes ain't never been in the struggle they rap about. They got ghostwriters writing their pain. They got image consultants manufacturing their street cred." And then he did something that had never been done in hip-hop history. He started naming names, but not directly. He was too smart for that. You got rappers talking about selling drugs and living that street life, but the closest they ever came to the hood was driving through it in their manager's Mercedes, windows up, doors locked. Everyone knew exactly who he was talking about. A particular East Coast rapper who had built his career on fabricated street credentials while growing up middle class. You got artists claiming they're from the projects when they grew up in gated communities. You got rappers talking about loyalty when they'll sell out anyone for a better record deal. The energy in Madison Square Garden was becoming electric and dangerous simultaneously. This wasn't entertainment anymore. This was a public trial. But Tupac was just getting started. "And don't get me started on these industry plants," he continued, his voice rising with passion. "These pretty boys who never wrote a single rhyme, but somehow they got major deals before they could freestyle for 30 seconds. In the VIP section, a young rapper who had recently signed a multi-million-dollar deal was visibly sweating. His debut album had been entirely written by professional songwriters, something the industry knew but fans didn't. Hip-hop was created by people who had nothing to lose and everything to prove, Tupac declared. "Now I see cats who never experienced real pain trying to profit off our culture." The crowd was completely captivated. Thousands were recording, understanding they were witnessing history. But what Tupac did next shocked even his most loyal fans. He pulled out that folded paper from his pocket. "A list? I got receipts," he announced, unfolding it slowly. "I've been doing my homework, and tonight I'm gonna educate y'all about who's real and who's fake." The silence was deafening. You could hear individual heartbeats in the front row. The first revelation sent shockwaves through the industry. You got this one cat who hired 6 different ghostwriters for 12 tracks. 6. And this dude talks about keeping it real? In the VIP section, the rapper in question stood up abruptly and headed for the exit. But Tupac saw him leaving. "Yeah, walk away," Tupac called out. "That's what fake people do when the truth comes out. They run." The crowd erupted in cheers and boos, creating chaos that shook Madison Square Garden's foundation. Then you got these record labels creating fake rivalries to sell more records, Tupac continued. They're manufacturing beef between artists who don't even have problems with each other. He was exposing the industry's darkest secret, that many conflicts fans believed were real, were actually calculated marketing strategies. I know cats who got calls from executives telling them to diss me just to generate publicity, and some weak-minded fools actually did it. The implications were staggering. Much of what fans believed about hip-hop authenticity was carefully manufactured illusion, but the most shocking revelation was still coming. Y'all want to know why certain artists blow up overnight while more talented cats struggle for years? Because this industry ain't about talent anymore. It's about who can be controlled and marketed. He pointed toward the VIP section again. Half these dudes got deals, not because they could rap, but because some executive thought they could be turned into a product. They're hip-hop's boy bands, manufactured, packaged, and sold. The comparison to boy bands was the most insulting thing possible in 1995 hip-hop. Several more rappers left the VIP section, unable to withstand the scrutiny. But Tupac wasn't just destroying. He began recognizing artists he considered authentic, creating a clear division between real hip-hop and manufactured product. But here's what really makes me angry, Tupac continued. These fake rappers aren't just hurting themselves. They're making our entire culture look like a joke. He was articulating something many felt but couldn't express, that inauthentic artists were damaging the entire genre's reputation. So tonight I'm drawing a line in the sand, he announced. You're either with the culture or against it. You're either real or contributing to the destruction of something beautiful. But then Tupac offered redemption. It's not too late, he said. If you're one of these fake cats, you can change. You can start writing your own rhymes. You can choose authenticity over artificiality. And then he did something legendary. He extended his hand toward the VIP section. Any of y'all want to prove you're real? Come up here and freestyle. No ghostwriters. No prepared verses. Just you, a microphone, and your actual skills. The challenge was brilliant and terrifying. It would immediately separate authentic artists from manufactured ones. For several long moments, nobody moved. Then, from the back of the VIP section, a young rapper stood up. "I'll do it," he called out, and the crowd erupted. What followed was one of the greatest freestyle performances in hip-hop history. The rapper delivered verses that were clearly improvised, personal, and authentic. He talked about real struggles and genuine experiences. Tupac nodded approvingly throughout, and when it finished he embraced the rapper on stage. "That's what I'm talking about," Tupac announced. "That's real hip-hop right there." Over the next hour, 7 more artists came to freestyle. Some succeeded brilliantly. Others failed spectacularly, exposing their complete reliance on ghostwriters. By the evening's end, hip-hop had a new hierarchy based entirely on proven authenticity rather than marketing budgets. Artists who proved their authenticity were elevated instantly. Those who failed or refused found their credibility permanently damaged. But the most significant impact was on the industry itself. Record labels realized fans were demanding authenticity. Radio programmers understood audiences could distinguish real from manufactured content. The Madison Square Garden incident marked the beginning of what historians call the authenticity era, when genuine expression became more valued than commercial polish. Within weeks, 3 major labels dropped artists exposed during Tupac's challenge. The 7 who successfully freestyled found their phones flooded with offers. But the most shocking development came when one called-out artist released a public apology. "Tupac was right," he said directly to camera. "I've been lying to y'all and lying to myself." Instead of destroying his career, the honesty rebuilt it. His next album, written entirely by himself, became critically acclaimed. Within 6 months, a movement began. Artists started making authenticity declarations about their real backgrounds and genuine processes. Record labels realized audiences responded positively to honest music. Sales for authentic artists consistently outperformed manufactured acts throughout 1996. The incident influenced how new artists were developed. Labels began prioritizing authentic backgrounds over manufactured image. After Madison Square Garden, everything changed, reflected music executive Sarah Johnson. Artists couldn't just look the part anymore. They had to be the part. The 7 artists who successfully freestyled all went on to successful careers built on authentic expression. The young rapper who first accepted the challenge became one of hip-hop's most respected lyricists. Those who failed found different trajectories. Several were dropped within months. Others struggled to regain credibility and never achieved projected success. The industry learned that authenticity couldn't be manufactured. It had to be genuine. This influenced not just hip-hop, but popular music generally. Today, the Madison Square Garden incident is studied as an example of how authentic artistic leadership can reshape entire industries. 28 years later, the freestyle challenge format has become standard in hip-hop culture. Open mic nights and battle competitions trace their popularity back to that December night. That night showed people can tell the difference between real and fake, reflected music journalist Marcus Williams. And once they know the difference, they'll always choose real. The 43,000 fans who witnessed the incident became ambassadors for authenticity in hip-hop culture. They spread the message that genuine artistic expression was more valuable than manufactured image. Many went on to become artists and industry professionals themselves, consistently promoting the values of authenticity that Tupac demonstrated that night. The incident demonstrated the power of live performance as a medium for cultural change. Unlike recorded music, the live setting forced immediate, authentic responses that couldn't be edited. The night Tupac called out fake rappers didn't just expose individual artists. It preserved hip-hop's authentic spirit and established standards that continue influencing music today. The microphone that dropped that night landed in an industry that prioritized image over substance. When Tupac picked it up and began speaking truth, he fundamentally altered the relationship between artists, industry professionals, and audiences. The 43,000 people who went silent that night witnessed the preservation of hip-hop's authentic spirit and the establishment of standards that continue defining artistic credibility today. Every time a hip-hop artist steps to a microphone now, they're still being measured by the standards Tupac Shakur established that historic December night when the real and fake were separated forever.